I was finishing a basement, cutting small pieces of baseboard. I got to cutting a tiny one and cutting a 45 so to fit them. So when I got done cutting it, I reached down to get it, same time turning to get up, which took my eyes off my hand. And doing so, when I straightened out my arm, my shirt fell down, which allowed to get under the saw guard, and the saw caught it and just pulled it right in and just cut it just right off. I looked back and I had no hand. First I'd do is shut off the bleeding, because I looked down and said, no, this can't be real. So I looked down, my pants is shooting out blood. So I'd take off my belt and tourniquet my arm up here. I didn't want to do it down here because there was nothing to support anything anymore.
Were you home alone?
Yeah, I was home alone, yeah.
Okay.
Because my wife was out eating with friends. Picked up my hand, wrapped it in a towel, and took it outside with me so that could cut down as much time as possible, because they'd have a hard time finding me in the locked house downstairs. And they took me straight to Overland Park Regional. And from there, that was too much for their trauma center. So they just stabilized it and sent me on to KU. I remember arriving there. They put me on a gurney, and that's about the last thing I remember till the next morning. Then I woke up with my hands all covered, casted, and just kind of laying there. Yeah, just up. So then that's why I had to keep it for a number of months.
And so they were able to completely put everything back.
Pretty close. I got, like I said, most of it seems to be doing good. Apparently all the veins and vessels and all that are doing well, because the swelling had gone down.
Tell us a little bit about your pain after the surgery.
In the hospital, heavy doses of morphine, so I didn't feel it for the whole time I was there. It's just once I started getting off all that and started getting to try to get movement, that's where I could it started to come back in, the pain.
Could you describe what that pain was like?
Oh boy. What I imagine is like a real severe case of diabetic neuropathy. The burning, the shooting pain, the aches, the bone pain. It was all of it. It really was. It was bad.
And what would you do to help remedy the pain?
Gabapentin was about the only thing, but it just wouldn't get rid of it. It helped subside it a little bit, and that's about it. Even the high doses that I was on.
Now, did that affect your quality of life?
Yeah, quite a bit. And even the use of my hand, because you just don't try to use it too much.
How long would you say you were living with this constant burning pain?
Until I got this implant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that ever relieved it.
How many months did you go before you finally did the implant?
It's almost 2.5 years. It was terribly frustrating. It's just constant pain, which makes life miserable. It almost seemed like it's just almost like leading to just depression, because there's no end in sight. Everything I'd tried had really no effect on it. Say, like the gabapentin I took just kind of knocked it down a little bit, but it never got rid of it. So it was just horrible. It's almost like a downward spiral, because there's no hope. There's even probably times I even thought, well, maybe it would have been better if I didn't had shut off the bleeding. That way I don't have to deal with this, because that's tough to deal with. That really is. Constant pain like that, day in and day out, that's hard. Because there's no relief.
Tell us how you heard about HF10 therapy.
I heard about it through my wife. She works with Dr. Gupta a lot, and I guess he's done several of these. And during a surgery, I guess, she brought this up, and I guess nobody ever thought about something like this for this type of an injury. They started talking, Dr. Gupta and whoever, and they said, well, let's have me come in for a trial. So did that. Boy, that just worked wonderful. My wife could see the difference in attitude just right off, because the pain went away.
How much pain went away, would you say?
Even at the trial, I'd say about 60% of it. But that was fantastic. Once I got the permanent one, it was even better. It was 80 plus percent had gone away.
Were you able to reduce any medications
Oh,
during the trial?
that's right. Yes, yeah. So I cut my gabapentin in half, and the only reason I keep taking gabapentin is it kind of helps with the feeling of the tightness, and that's it. But as far as for pain, I don't take it for pain. You know, once the pain's gone, I mean, a lot of things will change. Quality of life is just so much better.
After your trial, you got set up for surgery and you had your procedure. Could you tell us a little bit about what the recovery time was like after your procedure?
It was almost nothing. I mean, it's almost like just going to the dentist for the most part. You just go to sleep, wake up, and you're fixed. I didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. Pretty straightforward, simple.
Did you go home the same day?
Yeah, same day. Yeah, walked out. So, no big deal. It takes a little bit getting used to since it does have an implant. And it's got a scar around it, you know, to set in right. But apart from that, there's nothing to be afraid of whatsoever. And the results you get is definitely worth it. Increase my quality of life just tremendously. I don't know what I'd have done without that. I'd say living with pain day in and day out, that's not a really good way of living.
Would you recommend this
Oh,
to
I would.
others?
Oh, and I'll do it again in a minute. Even from what I've been through, I'll do it again.
Even now, several months after the implant, I mean, we're in June of 2018, how much pain relief do you think you're getting?
Oh, it's high. It's 80 or so. I mean, sometimes depending on the day. It kind of fluctuates. I mean, it's just like anything else. But it's still, even on the worst day, it's better than my best day before on medicine.
So would you say that this has been life-changing?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it has. And I'd recommend it to anybody. I really would.